You know that feeling, right? Where you get home and you just can't stop replaying a conversation in your head, trying to figure out if that smile was just friendly or if it was something more. Well, we're going to break all that down. We're going to decode that subtle, unspoken language of attraction to hopefully give you some real clarity. Okay, let's dive in.
I mean, we've all been there. You get home after meeting someone and your brain just goes into overdrive. You start running the whole interaction back, like you're a detective looking at security footage. You're thinking, okay, what did that laugh really mean? Was that little touch on the arm an accident or something else? Was that a sign?
And this, right here, this is the heart of it, isn't it? That constant, looping question in your head can be absolutely exhausting. Are they sending you a green light, or are you just seeing what you want to see? My goal here is to give you a solid framework for reading these cues so you can spend less time feeling anxious and more time feeling confident. Okay, so to really get a handle on this, we first need to understand that interest basically communicates on two different channels, and they work together. Think of it like a stereo system, right? You need both speakers working together to really get the full, rich sound. So, on the one hand, you've got your verbal cues. This is the easy stuff, the actual words being said. You know, the compliments, the playful teasing, asking real questions about you, or talking about the future, like, hey, we should totally go there sometime. But on the other side, you've got the nonverbal cues. And this category is huge. It's body language, eye contact, the tone of your voice, how close you're standing. I mean, it's pretty much everything except the actual words you're saying.
And this leads us to a really cool concept from communication research. It's called nonverbal immediacy. Basically, it's a collection of behaviors that shrink the physical and psychological space between people. When someone's attracted to you, you'll often see these immediacy behaviors ramp up. More genuine smiling, leaning in when you talk, and maybe some appropriate light touch. It creates this real feeling of warmth and connection.
Okay, before we go any deeper, I need you to lock this into your brain. This might be the single most important point of this entire explainer. There is no single magic sign. A smile can mean attraction, sure, but it can also just be good customer service. A touch on the arm could be a sign, or it could just be how that person is with everybody. The real meaning, the truth of the situation, it always comes from looking at patterns of cues, and most importantly, the context.
All right, so if one little signal doesn't mean anything for sure, how do we even begin to figure it out? Let's get into the specifics now and break down some of the most common nonverbal signals that researchers see time and time again when people are interested in each other.
It's pretty amazing, actually. A psychologist named Monica Moore went out and cataloged over 50 different nonverbal courtship signals in women alone. Now, this slide shows some of the most common ones that we see across the board. We're talking about genuine smiles that actually reach the eyes, holding eye contact for just a split second longer than normal, little grooming things like running their fingers through their hair, and yep, those quick, light touches on an arm or a shoulder. Remember, it's not just one of these in isolation, it's the combination, the cluster of them that starts to paint a real picture. Now here's another one that's super subtle but speaks volumes. Body orientation. When someone is genuinely engaged with you, their body often gives it away. It's almost primal. We unconsciously point our bodies towards what we're interested in. So check it out. Are their torso and their feet pointed towards you? Are they leaning in a little closer when you're talking? These are classic signs of engagement. On the flip side, if their body is angled away, that can be a signal that they're just not that into the conversation. But let's not forget, words themselves are hugely important. The verbal signs of interest are usually more than just small talk. You want to look for compliments that are really specific and personal. Not just, I like your shirt, but something about your sense of humor or an idea you just shared. Playful teasing can build this little private bubble between two people. And here's a big one to listen for. Future-oriented language. Phrases like, next time we, or we should definitely. That suggests they're imagining more interactions with you down the road.
Okay, but what about when the signals feel, well, intentionally confusing? Let's dive into a trickier topic, something that can be honestly pretty frustrating. This idea of testing in the early stages of dating.
So, what exactly is testing? Well, it's when someone, and this is often totally subconscious, creates little hurdles or challenges just to see how you'll respond. Now, relationship experts will tell you this usually isn't about being mean. It's often coming from a place of insecurity, a need to know if you're for real and if they can actually feel safe with you. They're trying to figure out if your interest is genuine. And these little tests can show up in all sorts of ways. Maybe they take forever to text back, just to see if you get all impatient, or they cancel plans at the last minute to see how you'll handle it and if you'll make an effort to reschedule.
Sometimes they might even poke at you a little bit, just to see if you can stay calm under pressure. What they're really trying to do is see your true character when things aren't perfectly smooth.
So, how do you handle this without getting sucked into playing games yourself? The key is to completely reframe your goal here. It's not about passing their test. It's about building healthy communication. So first, just stay cool and be patient. Don't get defensive. Second, communicate directly. You could say something like, "Hey, I was really looking forward to seeing you. Let's definitely find another time." And third, you have to set your boundaries. If this testing stuff starts to feel constant or manipulative, it is 100% okay to say that it's not working for you.
Okay, wow. We've covered a ton of ground, haven't we? From subtle body language to those confusing tests. Let's boil it all down to 3 key takeaways. 3 simple rules that can give you clarity in pretty much any situation.
Rule number 1, and this is the big one. Context is king. A friendly smile from your barista, that's probably just part of the job. But a similar smile from someone across the room who keeps making eye contact with you, that's a totally different story. You always have to figure out what's normal behavior for that person in that specific situation. What you're looking for is an anomaly, something that breaks from their normal pattern and it's aimed right at you.
Number 2, you have to follow the progression. Research shows that attraction isn't just an on-off switch. It unfolds in stages. It might start with general interest, like just getting a coffee. Then it might move into romantic interest, and then later, intimacy. Don't try to jump 3 steps ahead. If someone agrees to a coffee date, that's an awesome sign, but it doesn't mean they're ready to plan a weekend getaway. Pay attention to the cues at each stage.
And finally, rule number 3. This is your ultimate tool when you're just not sure. When you're stuck in that loop of overthinking, the clearest, most respectful signal you can get is a direct one. If you're picking up on some positive signs but you're still confused, just ask. Something super simple and low pressure, like, "I've had a really great time talking with you. Would you be open to getting a coffee sometime?" That's the best way to get a clear answer. Their response will tell you everything you need to know.
So we've spent all this time talking about how to read the signals other people are sending. But that brings us to a final, really important question for you to chew on. What signals are you sending out into the world? Are your own words and your body language telling the same story? Are you communicating your interest clearly and respectfully? Because understanding this language works both ways, and being a clear sender is every bit as important as being a good receiver. Thanks for tuning in.